Hey there. Silly story here, bringing you another silly tale for everyone to enjoy. Title: The Redemption of Mr. Riggs. My name's Al Riggs. I've been the landlord of the Maplewood Apartments for over 20 years, and I like things a certain way my way. To most people, I'm what you might call grumpy. To me, I'm just efficient. No nonsense. Focused. Sure, I'm strict about rent collection, and maybe I charge a little extra for things like laundry tokens and garbage bags, but that's just good business. You use it, you pay for it. Simple as that. So, I wasn't exactly loved by my tenants, but I didn't mind. I kept to myself, they kept to themselves, until the city inspector showed up. Turns out, my old building had a few maintenance issues. A crack here, a leak there, a busted radiator or two. I figured, if the place is still standing, it's good enough, right? The city didn't think so. They hit me with a fine bigger than my entire month's rent roll, and a list of repairs I could barely understand. Suddenly, I had to fix up this old building or face more fines and inspections. And to make matters worse, I had to rely on my tenants, the very people I'd been overcharging and shooing away from my office for years. Great. First order of business was the leaky pipe in the basement. I figured it'd be an easy fix. All I needed was some duct tape. Duct tape holds planes together, so surely it could handle one leaky pipe. But no sooner had I wrapped the pipe when it burst, sending a jet of cold water straight into my face. As I sputtered, wiping my glasses, I heard giggling behind me. Two tenants stood there, one of them holding up a phone. "Hey, Mr. Riggs," she said, grinning. "This is going on TikTok." TikTok, I grumbled. I don't want to end up on one of those internet things. But it was too late. She filmed the whole thing, capturing my failed repair job and my soaking wet face. She must have posted it because, by the end of the day, every tenant seemed to be in on the joke. One guy even gave me a thumbs up in the hallway and said, "Nice try with the tape, Mr. R." I grumbled something about him being late with rent and stomped off. My tenants are a quirky bunch. One afternoon, as I was on my way to check a suspicious squeak on the third floor, I found a crowd gathering in the courtyard. A tenant named Leo, who must have been half my age and twice as energetic, spotted me. "Mr. Riggs," he called out. "Come on, join the dance-off." I tried to turn and flee, but he wouldn't have it. Leo grabbed my arm and dragged me into the middle of the crowd. Next thing I knew, I was in the middle of some bizarre dance circle, facing off with Leo, who started doing this wild breakdancing routine. I tried to shuffle my feet in a way that looked like dancing, but I think it came off more like a chicken with leg cramps. People were clapping and cheering, and I could feel my cheeks burning. At some point, Leo pointed to me, like it was my turn to pull off a move. I just did the first thing that came to mind, an awkward shoulder wiggle that got the crowd roaring with laughter. Even I cracked a smile, though I tried to hide it. After a few weeks of these mishaps, I started to feel something unusual. I realized I was actually looking forward to my next tenant interaction. The people in my building weren't half bad. They waved at me, joked around, and believe it or not, even offered to help with some repairs. I decided it was time to give back, so I announced a rent discount initiative, thinking it'd score me some brownie points. But I wasn't just going to hand out money. I put my own little spin on it. I posted a note in the lobby offering tenants $10 off if you don't use hot water after 8 p.m. and $5 off if you stop leaving lights on. I thought it was genius. Instead, tenants were more confused than anything. One tenant asked, "Mr. Riggs, how do you plan to track our hot water usage?" I scratched my head. I hadn't really thought that through. They ended up ignoring most of my discounts. The one particularly frugal tenant said he'd take me up on the no hot water offer. I expected him to be a no-show on rent day, but, to my surprise, he paid early. Maybe my weird discounts were starting to win them over, little by little. Then came the night of the potluck. A few tenants invited me to join, and after some hemming and hawing, I showed up. They had food spread out on foldable tables, paper lanterns hanging from the trees. I wasn't much for parties, but I have to admit, the fried chicken smelled pretty good. I sat down, trying to blend into the background, but they wouldn't have it. They pulled me into their stories, teased me about my dance moves, and even served me an extra slice of pie. For the first time in years, I felt like part of something. So here I am, still the landlord of Maplewood Apartments, but a slightly different one. I'm still a little gruff, but I've stopped charging for things like trash bags. I even let the tenants use the hot water whenever they want. And as much as it pains me, I've actually given a few people small rent discounts, no strings attached. These days, when I walk through the building, people say hi, Mr. Riggs, with a smile. And sometimes, on a quiet afternoon, I'll find myself in the courtyard, doing a little dance to some music playing in the background. Not for TikTok or for anyone else, just because it feels good. Story ends. Thanks for listening. Make sure to visit our YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this, show some love by hitting like, sharing it with someone you know, and subscribing so you can be part of this channel's journey. See you again for another silly story.